one. And we're on. Fight, fight, fight! It's my boy Trompito saying, today you got another episode of the American Troll Podcast. This one we are calling Civil War, man. Because me and Bruno here have been going at it since we got into the room, and he's brought two buddies along, man. Why don't you introduce them to us, Bruno?
They're actually your paisanos.
They are. They're catrachos, homie, but they're leaving. They're leaving, fool. They're leaving. They jump from old man Joe to fucking Harris, homie. So I don't know, but what's up, Edwin? How are you, brother?
How you doing, man? I'm good.
Let's get the mic closer to you. Let's get the mic. Let's hear you. Let's hear you, beautiful
How you doing,
voice.
brother? I'm good.
All right, we got Edwin, and we got Junior Edwin over here. Or?
Yeah,
Andrew, how we doing, Andrew?
I'm good.
How's that? Oh no, I'll say progressive life. Can I say progressive life or no?
You can.
Was that offensive?
No.
Okay, liberals good too. Oh, you got beef with the liberals.
I got no beef.
All right, so let's get it started with you, man. Let's give a little history about who you are, what made you the person that you are today.
You know what? He wants
to go.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to transition into. So real quick, Edwin is a close friend of mine. You know, crew member. We go way back since like the '90s, and so we talk politics on a regular. And you know, the more things pop up, he shared a story with Andrew and a lot of the stuff coming up. So I thought it was important to have your listeners hear the story and yourself too, just kind of get a little different perspective, a little bit of a younger perspective, not just a bunch of old heads.
That's right.
But through that, also I wanted to highlight the job that Edwin has done as a father, as a mentor,
nice.
As somebody coming to this country, Honduran like you. Shares a lot of the same similar past. Obviously, I'm sure you guys could chop it up and talk a lot of the Honduran politics. But again, more so, it's important in these crazy times to be able to highlight successful, positive stories of success. So again, extremely proud of my nephew right here. And again, I wanted to be able to highlight that. But yeah, just start with a little bit of Edwin. Want to tell folks about yourself?
Yeah, man. My name's Edwin. Came to the States maybe about, 83, 84. And been here ever since, man. Raised in L.A. And, when I got here, didn't know anything about the culture, not even the language. So little by little, I learned through it all. I think I even learned English through rap, man, to be quite honest with you. That's really how I learned English. From there on, man, just school and messing around in the streets and so became a young dad and all of that stuff.
So you were raised in Panorama. How were you able to navigate?
Heights, man. I call it Panorama Heights.
Panorama Heights. Huh?
How were you able to navigate through all that and not get too caught up? I know you mentioned you did a little bit of graffiti.
Yeah, man, I did all of that. I think that was my escape, to be quite honest with you, man. I grew up in Panorama, and I grew up in Panorama when it was a drive-by central, man. Like, like there was 4 exits, and everybody, and that street always got hit. And little by little, I escaped it. Not because the neighborhood, but it just didn't speak to me, And I found I like being creative. And first of all, I think as a elementary kid, I was into skating, and then from skating, I evolved into the graph and the art side of things. And ever since that, and I still stay in the creative world, but more on the producing and film side of things.
Yeah, so as you learned English, what tell us a little bit about your career path. What did you transition into, and what was that path like?
Man, that was an interesting path. I'm going to be honest with you, because I didn't know what to do. I was a high school dropout, young father, and I just figured it out, man. I was chasing music, to be quite honest with you. I had a little independent record label, signing rappers.
Who you signing? Who you signing?
Signing rappers of that time, man.
Who was the hot rapper in Panorama City? Come on, bring it in, Chris.
Not just Panorama City, man. It was I was one of those guys going into the smaller independent clubs and looking for rappers of that time.
What was the name of the label? You might owe me some money, fool.
Ground Rule.
Okay.
No money.
I used to be a rapper back in the day. Nobody knows this yet. When it came out.
Oh, that's what's up.
They haven't exposed me yet, fool.
Nah, that's funny, man. But yeah, I was chasing music, and I ended up finding a little mailroom job at a small independent film distribution company, and I was always trying to find my way into the entertainment business, man. I just didn't know how. I didn't have those connections. And I just figured that as soon as I get in the building, I'll figure it out. And that was trying to get into the mailroom is how I figured it out.
Oh, shit.
And I got there, and I might have been there for like a year or two. Then I started seeing other positions that I like, and then I just started going.
You didn't blackmail nobody or anything like that? The mail? Just making sure, man. Making sure.
You didn't end up at a P. Diddy party or anything like that?
No
Work
P.
your way
Diddy
up?
party,
You got all the pictures from the P. Diddy parties once I got up the ranks.
No, nothing like that, man. I got lucky, but yeah, man, just figuring it out after that's all I keep telling my sons. I have 2 sons, Andrew's one of them and the youngest, but I always keep telling them I just figured it out. You know, I didn't know what I was really going after. I didn't have no education. I didn't really have any those parental figures really there to mentor me or anything like that. But you know, I think being a young father just kind of gave me that motivation to figure it out.
So who did you come over here to the States with when you first came? Was it with your parents or no parents?
Nah, I came
Oh, he's a
alone.
solo?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the original caravan. Fool, send him back! Send him back! He's the original caravan.
My mom, here's how it happened, man. My mom came here first with my aunts and all of that. I stayed with my grandpa in Honduras for a good 3 to 5 years.
That's like me.
And then my mom got a call and like, hey, you're going with your mom. And going from Honduras, a car trip all the way to TJ, man. And somebody picked me up around TJ and brought me to the States.
How old were you when you became a father?
Bro, wait, hold back. I was so young that even when I came here, I didn't know that, like, I didn't really recognize my mom. Because I was that young, you know, like they told me that's your mom, and I just said, all right, like, that's my mom. Like,
We always tell him he's adopted.
yeah, I used to tell them like I think she bought me, man. 'Cause I was like child trafficking. Yeah, I was like I think she bought me because there's no pictures of me. I was like there's only like 2 pictures, you know. I was like, and she didn't have my birth certificate. I was like, so I think she bought me.
That's
you know?
third world country activities right there.
That's what she tells me. Yeah, like
Pretty
hey,
much.
you know, like when you come here, you dump everything and you just
Start from scratch.
yeah, you start from scratch. So I had to learn that the hard way, you know.
And you, so some of your early friends are the ones you still kept to this day, right?
100%.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them, you know. From elementary, I still see them around Panorama City, to be quite honest with you, and all the way from, like, you know, junior high and high school, I still...
So if you didn't even recognize your mom when you got here, tell us about your father.
Bro, I don't even know my father, man. I don't know my father. I didn't have a positive... Like I said, man, I didn't have a positive male figure. My mom worked 2 jobs. I kind of raised myself, you know? Like
So we always laugh because I remember one of the times we were sitting back, we would sit down at Starbucks, we'd plan, we'd plot. And so one day he asked me, hey, Bruno, do you know your father? And I was like, what? Like, what kind of ghetto ass shit is that? You know, like, do I know my father? And he's like, I don't know my father. Do you know your father?
Charlie Hans.
Charlie. And then we started, and Andrew, I know he mentioned that you guys couldn't believe that too, how foreign that is. But the more we start talking, the more we realize like how many of us really don't know our fathers or knew them. My father left in '84. You can imagine. So it might as well like you don't know the person, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the most impressive things to come to a country, to not know the language, to not know your family by yourself, and to be able to raise, you know, strong young men like yourself.
Break the cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I met my father briefly when I was a kid, but he passed away when I was young. But he was also like a full-blown alcoholic, bro, like on the street alcohol type. And in Honduras, not even over here. So it's kind of the same story. And my mom left me in Honduras when I was there. She left when I was like 3 years old. I came here when I was 6, almost 7 years old. So it's
almost identical.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so how do you think that shaped you as a young father and it's coming up?
All I wanted to do was, I didn't even know the word, right? Break the cycle. But all I wanted to do was I used to tell myself, I'm going to be the father that I wanted to my kids. Right? Like, I'm just trying to be the father that I think I would have wanted. You know, and now, obviously, you know, through age and a little bit of education, I know about breaking cycles and things like that. But, you know, that was the only thing that kept me moving.
Everything so far, you've been doing great, but you need to break the cycle of the Democratic Party, bro.
We're gonna get there.
We'll get there. We only got an hour because I got another podcast, but I got to throw it in there. I got to throw it.
So share a little bit about your big success, your big breakthrough. Just a little bit about, you know, your story, how the most recent years, I guess you could say.
I'll jump forward to the most recent years. I've been producing stand-up comedy for Netflix, HBO, and a couple other platforms. That's dope. I figured it out, man, and you know, my sons have seen my trials and tribulations. They've seen me fail, and they've seen me figure it out after I fell. You know, and
so one not to cut you off on that, but one of the most amazing things that he always said is, you know, as he got into the comedy stuff, he would say, I produced my own comedy show because nobody would hire me to be a producer. Nobody would give me the opportunity. So he figured out, he made the opportunity for himself. And so through a lot of these challenges, I think that's a super powerful story to go from the Canoga Park Little Theater to selling something to Redbox to getting on Netflix to eventually HBO. Yeah, and being a huge part. I don't know if you want to share it, not to name drop, but some of the people you've worked with.
I mean, most recently, we just released and produced for Nick Swartzen, a comedy special for Nick Swartzen. Yeah. I don't know if you know who that is.
I'm not sure who that is.
Some of the other names?
Adam Sandler is like little best friend. Like the guy's been in all of the Adam Sandler movies. Yeah. If I show you his face, you're like, oh, yeah, that guy. He's one of those. Grandma's boy. Oh, all right, yeah. One of those, okay.
But also Gary Owens.
Gary Owens, Craig Ferguson, and then a lot of upcoming comedians like Chris Estrada, Frankie Quinones, Ida Rodriguez.
So you're in that circle of real real comedians.
Well, you know, my biggest goal going into comedy was to highlight Latino entertainers.
Right.
Like that was my biggest goal. So I focused on that first. And Nick Swartzen, Ferguson, and Owen are like the most recent ones where we're like, okay, now we got our feet wet. We already know what we're doing. We helped out the community. Now let us keep growing in this space.
So one of the dopest things, Gill, that he was just sharing with me the other day is he said when he's putting together budgets and he would deal with comedians and he'd ask them, you know, what do you charge? And we'd have that same brown budget mentality where we'd always undercut ourselves. And he would actually encourage them, no, charge me more. Like, let's up these budgets. Right, like, know your worth. So he would say, like, he'd pay comedians 3 to 4 times what they were asking.
Oh, shit.
And so think about that cycle that he's breaking, to be able to say, like, no, like, I'm going to uplift it.
Edward's a better man than me. I'd be like, how much you want?
Nah, you know, looking like a Republican.
I'll give you $200 more.
You know what it is? It's the fact that I was in a space and in a business where they were already giving me the Latino budget. And I was already upset that they were looking down on us. So I was like, I would always challenge them, charge me more so I can go back and tell them that I need more.
No, really, that's honorable. Do it on some real stuff. That's honorable, and that's the beautiful thing because you were dropping game on these guys,
sharing the wealth, if you will.
Yeah.
And opening the doors, like let them know, stop charging so cheap.
Yeah,
and that's where I think, like, so starting to break the cycles. I know we're gonna get into a little bit more with Andrew here, but again, eventually purchasing home in Encino. Like, tell us, like, from coming to this country, not knowing the language, to eventually purchasing a home in Encino. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be able to do it alone. You know, it definitely takes a community, and I learned a lot. And even I think my mom allowed me to fail. Like the best thing that she did is she allowed me to fail, and through that I took a lot of chances. And I think that I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the things that I now do without that. You know, and I take that same and I transfer it to my sons. Like, go out there and try whatever you want. You know, and then we're here. Like, if you need to come back home, you need to come back home.
Failures are just lessons, man. Yeah. If you do it right, those are lessons that'll teach you in the future.
100%.
That's awesome.
So that's what allowed me to purchase in Encino, and also once I did that, then it was like trying to set my sons up. Like, hey, when you move out, like, try to buy property, save up, and figure it out. You know.
So that transitions into Andrew. So tell us about your father, how your father's experiences influenced you, your upbringing.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with working with my dad. I think exposed me to a lot of things, exposed me to an industry that I didn't really fully understand, but knew, like, oh man, this is fun. Like, we get to, like, I don't know, put it on an event, and even though it was a small show, it was like, man, it's on TV.
To see your name in the credits and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so, like, I guess from that early age, I just knew, like, oh yeah, this is probably where I want to go. And so from there, that's kind of when I started taking my school a little bit more serious. Like early high school, I'll be honest, I was just like taking it easy, and then like sophomore, junior year, senior year, that's when I started going heavy honors classes and everything like that.
Nice.
And then was able to get into, after going to Pierce for 2 years, because I was like, first 2 years of any education is just general education anyways. let me just go for free for 2 years. That way he doesn't have to spend that much either.
And let me tell you, like, we had a big argument about that because I was saving a check to help him get into a 4-year university, right? And then he's like, Dad, there's no need to spend that check. Like, it's general education, so just let me go do it at Pierce. And I was like, nah, F that. Like, you know, like.
My son's got to be at university.
Not just that. Is like, what do we do all of this work for? Like, why did you go and take AP classes, honor classes? Like, why did you do all of this if you're just going to go to Pierce, you know?
And what you're doing?
He just broke it down to me.
Yeah, so like I didn't want to take out any loans. I also didn't want him to have to pay any like out-of-state tuitions, and any private school is just gonna be like ridiculous. So I was like, let me go to Pierce because they have this program called TAG, which is like a transfer something guarantee.
Not tag like graffiti.
Like TAG, like it's like transfer acceptance guaranteed or something like that.
Okay.
It's like if you go to any of these community colleges, I forgot what it was called, but LACC, and you do 2 years to get your AA, you fulfill these requirements for a particular school, they will automatically accept you to like a UC. So I did it for UC Riverside because they had a pretty good business program, as well as most UCs don't have like an applied business. They only have like a theory or an economics program, but I wanted to go like finance. So they had a concentration in finance, and I didn't have to take Calc 2. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Riverside.
How many years did you do there?
2 years. Yeah, like 2 years. Yeah. It was a little less, I think. COVID unfortunately hit, and so that
it ruined his experience because he was in a dorm over there and
the China virus.
Yeah.
So one thing, Andrew, that I think is really important, especially for the fathers that are raising kids, I wanted you to touch a little bit on what being exposed to like culture, to your father's like artistic background, to traveling. Like I seen a lot of the trips. Like how did that shape you and how did that help you develop?
I think it just helps anyone. I mean, your studies show art and music, things like that, traveling, do just like help people express themselves. I don't know how to explain it, but they end up developing a lot of better skills just down the road. It's easy.
It helps you grow, bro.
Yeah, it just helps you grow.
And it helps shape your political views the right way, obviously.
Well, that's the college, bro.
You've traveled.
That's the college. The rest of the kids saying we have it horrible over here.
Nah, definitely. All my views were shaped by Scott Lundgren, my 10th grade teacher.
There you go. I told you they groom him in schools, bro.
But no, he was always teaching. He was able to. He would always highlight things that maybe weren't always on the curriculum because, it's been whitewashed or it's been hidden from history, essentially. And so I always appreciated that. Nice. And he always just taught us to essentially just, like, look into things more than what are just in the history books. Like
that's right. Smart man.
Yeah.
So you graduate college, and tell us, where do you go there from there?
Yeah, so I graduated, and I ended up landing a job in the entertainment industry. It's a small little
distribution company,
independent distribution company. And so I still am able to help on productions with him on some of his shows, but we've been releasing some movies on AVOD platforms like Hulu, Tubi, Roku, things like that.
So one of the big kickers and one of the things that I really wanted to highlight to all of the people that follow the channel is tell us about your path to home ownership. I know I have a certain somebody that says how impossible it is to own a home in California.
Well, when his dad gives him about 80 racks for the down payment.
That's where you're gonna be surprised.
Let's talk about it.
So a lot of times I know that like a lot of the narrative is that you can't purchase homes in California, how the sky is falling, everything's terrible. So to learning your story and again dealing with your dad and knowing that he didn't give you any money, tell us about your path to home ownership.
Sure. And while he didn't support me financially, or monetarily, I'll say, with the actual home purchase, he provided, sometimes he would, give me gas money and things like that.
So my mom, you save money.
Yeah, and if I was going out with my girlfriend, he would be like, "Oh, here's $100," but he would help me on the day-to-day expenses.
Nice.
And as well as my mom, I was living with my mom for a year and a half still after I graduated college. And she wasn't charging me rent while I was working because she was just like, she knew I was saving up. So that's what really enabled me, I think, to purchase my home, as well as sorry to cut you off, but the reason I studied finance was also because I just feel like a lot of people in our not just
in our culture,
culture,
we don't know how
we overspend for
all
sure.
the time. All the time.
Yeah, we are like the second. We are the second highest minority with the spending power behind Asian Americans. Yeah, we own nothing. Meanwhile, you know, African
we spend the most.
Yeah, we spend the most.
And we earn the least.
Yeah. At least we value our work the least, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Black and brown jobs.
Yeah, black jobs. But
try to take your job, Chris.
Oh wow.
but so yeah, that's what honestly all those things combined are what helped me purchase a home, as well as a second income from my girlfriend at the time, who's now my fiance.
Awesome. Congrats.
So
That's dope. Yeah, for sure. Congrats.
there was this thank you. There's this program that the city of Los Angeles had where essentially they'll provide you with the down payment of a condo or a home, depending on your income. So I believe for a 2-person home, you had to make under 100 or 105,000, which I feel like is very lenient. Thank God it's very lenient. Well, actually, it should be less because I feel like a lot of people have taken advantage of it, and it's prevented lower income people from actually utilizing it. But so they provide 115 for the down payment. The trade-off is you don't have to pay it back for 30 years, or unless you trade it, so like you sell it.
Right.
Then you have to pay it back, but that's through the sale of the home.
But they give you 115,000 for
115,000.
What
That was his
person
down
has that?
payment.
Yeah.
That was his down payment.
So that's a conversation that we have all the time, and we see a lot of the subscribers will ask, like, how do you purchase a home? How do we break this now? Like, that we're priced out, that we just can't. And I feel like stories like this are it's exactly what our people need to hear. And again, if it's families, if it's, you know, again, people that are struggling, like 100,000 still, even with today's the way that the market has changed, it's still a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
So for that being said,
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
115
It
grand.
is.
That's a lot of money.
And he qualified for that 2 years ago. So he was younger.
Yeah. And so thankfully, the timing was right before everything got a little bit worse with the interest rates and everything going up. I was locked in before all those things went up, so I'm pretty good, thankfully, right now.
Nice.
So when he came and told us, like his mom and I, hey, I'm buying something, I'm moving now, we're like, look at the economy.
Right,
like,
of course.
Don't. And then he's like, oh, I already did the process. I already qualify. I already have a lender. I already have a real estate. I'm working with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm moving. And his mom and I were just like, oh, okay, like, what do we do? Like, you know, we just got to let him know. But I think that the coolest thing is he educated himself before he just went out there.
Right,
and
for
bought
sure,
something.
for
'Cause
sure.
I thought it was an emotional purchase, right? Like, he just wants to get out of the house.
you
He
gotta
just
be
wants to get
careful.
out of the house.
But I saw the climate. I'm like, hedge funds and private equity keep on buying these awful homes, which is causing everything to go up. And so I'm like, no, there's not going to be a crash because it's being subsidized by all these private.
Becoming a little bit socialist over here. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
And so I'm like, the prices are going to continue to drive. It's basically I either bite the bullet now or I pay an even higher price later. And so that's why I just pull the trigger.
So Gill here always says that the more we grow up and the more we establish ourselves, the more conservative we start leaning towards, that our views start to change. And even though you're young, can you speak a little bit about that? Or maybe the difference before living at your mom's, just being a student,
Sure.
to now, like how have your political viewpoints changed?
Not at all. In fact, I mean, if
We're
anything,
getting applause,
probably
Chris. Come
more,
on.
probably more progressive than anything. In fact, I don't make good money. Like, I don't make good money in the sense where I'm still check to check, but I'm not complaining, man. I'm not looking at, man, I'm getting so much taxes. Like, I'm getting taxed up the ass or something like that. I don't care because it's going towards. Unfortunately, it's being mismanaged. It is being mismanaged.
I don't care. As long, listen,
It is being mismanaged.
Ding ding.
how long have you been in your house?
Coming up over a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you're gonna start seeing in the ballots in California is more and more taxes coming in. I bought my house luckily in 2012 when it was at the very lowest, and since then my taxes have gone up a few $100. And every because since they can't sit there and just California stopped voting for taxes, so they just keep putting these new taxes on homeowners. So what they're doing now is they're trying to make us homeowners take the bulk of the taxes, like when they need their pet projects for homelessness, when they need money for any kind of junk funds they got. Hey, go to the homeowners, just keep taxing them, because we get stuck into that realm of, believe it or not, of the rich. Oh, they got money, they're homeowners. No, we're working for us. Like you went to college, you sacrificed. Many kids your age are going out there partying every day and don't got shit to show for it. You were sacrificing, and that's why you got afforded the house. But I think when we start thinking that way, that what kind of business, business, what kind of business would run on and be successful on a notion that, hey, so how's it going business wise? It's just, they're getting money. Are you seeing where the money's going? No. Are they doing? If California was a business, or let's say even LA County, they'd be out of business, because the problem with politicians nowadays is open up the faucet. But you know who the faucet is? It's all of us. We keep paying all these taxes. So you can't just say, it's the money. I know it's not going right. That's when you're supposed to be like, where is this money going?
You would hate Texas then, man.
That's why I live in California,
you would hate. They got the worst property taxes.
That's what I just heard. I thought they had less property taxes.
No,
but that's what I just heard.
You can buy a house for like $100,000, but that property tax is going to kill you.
Yeah, but here you can buy a house, and the more you put onto it, the more they're going to start taxing you. I mean, it seems like the tax on homeowners just never stops, and they just want to keep on taxing homeowners. And you're lucky to be in a house, but most people, they can't afford to buy a house, right? Most people don't have $110,000.
Well,
right?
I will say too, they put a limit on how much you could buy. Like the house, they wouldn't let you purchase something over like $400,000.
Where'd you buy your house, in Mars?
I bought it in Van. It's a condo. It's a condo.
It's a townhouse. No, it's a townhouse.
Yeah, it's a townhouse.
All right.
So, what's it called?
What does it say? $400,000? You ain't getting nothing around here for it.
They were very,
not even Pondo no more. Not a house.
As well as they were very, very particular with the like. Our lender had to cut us off one time because they said the homeowner association.
Yeah,
because they went over the cap.
Messed up. Yeah,
no, not even the cap. Like they're just careful where he's gonna go and spend that money,
because it's essentially like they're partners, and we're coming together and we're saying, hey, we're gonna buy this house together. We're gonna give you 15%.
Now, was that a county program or a state program?
It was a county program at first, and then the California state ended up replicating, because it worked so well. They created their own California program, so now you could essentially do it anywhere in the.
When he started, it was so new, and he educated himself that not even the real estate agent knew about it.
Not at all. I had to. They kept on.
They kept
trying to give me other loans, and
I had heard about some of that, but I've never actually met somebody who used it, which is kind of dope.
Well, the reason why too, sorry to cut you off, but is because people found loopholes. People with money, people with property already found loopholes, and
shout out to my Armenian buddies.
Unfortunately, there's a pool, there's a budget that this program has, and it goes away instantly because these people take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah. But that's how the system is. It's taking advantage. Listen, how about this? I don't know where your street you live on. Do you, like me, I just got into it with this one guy that's been parking outside the side of my street for the last month and a half. I just can't catch him. He's like flash, fool, he's gone. He comes in with this big truck, which is fine. He's got a Dodge truck, and he's got a trailer on it, And then I look, and I finally see him. Now he got comfortable. He parked right on my side where I'm opening my kitchen window. I see this big old truck and trailer. I go to my garage. I get this big old brown paper. Yeah. I do the cholo carrying. And I put, this is not commercial parking. I put it, and I tape it over his windshield. And finally, the next morning, I catch him. He's like, because usually he takes off and he grabs this thing and he's got on the tree. He's got a little marker. He's trying to write on it. I pay taxes. I came to.
Did you sign a stranger?
Yeah, I went to my garage. No, I went to my garage. I said, "Here's a bigger marker if you want to write on it." And he's like, "Well, what is this?" I said, "Well, what this is me having an issue. You parking not your truck, but your trailer over here. I pay taxes." I said, "I know you pay taxes. So do I." I said, "I do construction." When I bring stuff home, I'll put it in my driveway, and maybe every once in a while, I said, I can understand if you're leaving here un día, otro día, because you're busy, but I see now you're getting comfortable, and you think you can put your trailer over here. Oh, well, by my house, there's a bunch of homeless, it's not. I said, well, to kick them out. That's what I do. I said, well, you know what's going to happen? Y le está hablando en español, era mexicano. I said, lo que va a pasar, los que fuman esa madre van a mirar tu trailer y van a decir, pues aquí me puedo poner, aquí no dice nada. And then the guy he was like, and I said, y le estoy diciendo de buena onda. I'm not coming at you crazy, sir. I'm letting you know respectfully. I know you wouldn't want me to park this in front of your house, so please don't park it in front of mine. And if you want to, that's on you. I'm just telling you.
And don't step on your grass, right?
No, I could give two shit. No, on my grass, I have signs, pick up your shit. In other words, listen, in other words, hey, we used to want to kill motherfuckers in the hood for less. Now I'm really protecting my neighborhood, but my neighborhood looks much cleaner than it used. When I first moved in, it was a free for all, bro. They were boning behind the tree, condoms. No, seriously, condoms here, and I was the guy going out there.
And by they, do you mean the homies?
Huh? No, I'm talking no. The whole straw in Lancashire, they used to bring them right there because the trees are there.
Wow.
So every morning, you would see condoms out there. You would see now. Very little, bro. But because you got to be proactive, you can't just sit back and say, "Oh, it's not my fault. It's not my business." No, it is, because you know why? Because when I walk with my wife and we walk around the block every once in a while, I don't want to see somebody boning in the car.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to see somebody smoking meth in the car. You know, and people say that's a carrot. No, that's a man taking care of his property. I mean, and I think that's what we're missing. But there's a lot of homies or people in the comment section that'll say, "Oh yeah, you're being a Karen." All right. Well, if that's okay in your neighborhood, get it, homie. It's not in mine. And that's why they call me a crazy coconut, homie.
Crazy coconut?
Much worse. That's being nice.
So can you help teach Gill what the difference between a progressive and a liberal is in your view? Educate us.
Sure. A progressive essentially is further left than a liberal. A liberal is essentially the blue version of a conservative, in my opinion.
So there's levels to this. So the progressive is even more off the cliff. So you guys like hang gliding or something? Because the liberals are actually okay. They just have a couple crazy stuff. Like I think my boy Maxwell is a liberal, and he says that he doesn't believe there should be any permits. There should not be like anything.
Like an abolitionist.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what they started doing in the Supreme Court. They got rid of the FDA, the need for the FDA and any regulatory government bodies.
Well, I don't know about everything. Maybe did they get rid of the FDA? No.
Well, they essentially are trying to get rid of
essentially and actually doing it is way two different things. Okay, way two different things.
They are working essentially. They're working towards.
They're working towards everything. According to the liberals,
it's not according
they're working for Trump to be Hitler and take over America and become a dictator and never leave. Do you believe that Trump is going to be a dictator?
He said he would day one.
So,
he did say that
day one.
So, Andrew, how do you feel about socialism versus capitalism?
Oh, socialism's great. Yeah.
I love when they say that, bro. I love when they say that.
Capitalism is the reason why this entire southern hemisphere is impoverished.
You're young.
They are being exploited.
You are young. You are so young.
They've been exploited for the entire dawn of history.
If socialism was around, you would not have a department you're at. Your father would not be in the position you're at. He would not be in the position. I would not be in the position. We would all be equal. What makes America great?
That's not what socialism.
No. Cuba. Is Cuba partly
communism?
But communism is socialism. Venezuela, then.
You know levels to this.
Let him tell you what socialism.
You know what socialism is? Socialism is, what's that brand? They make rice and grains. It has that old white guy with the white beard.
Oh, huh?
Is it Quaker?
Not Quaker. It's like Uncle. It's
Uncle Ben's.
Not Uncle Ben. Is that
Uncle Tom's?
Is Uncle Ben? Well, it was a white. It's a white. I don't know. It's a white guy, but. Essentially, it's a co-op, so all the workers own a percentage of the business. They all essentially are making money off their labor.
Yeah, but you're talking about like almost like how the Green Bay Packers do it, how people there own a piece of
fans,
that.
yeah.
But that's still corporate America. So corporate America is what has you with a nice phone. I'm sure you got a video game at home. All that kind of stuff is corporate America. I love how young college kids are always saying how they hate corporate America, and they're on their iPhone, on Facebook, on Instagram. Like, hey, bro, you know, in a socialist country, the president of that country is gonna tell you, you're gonna do this, and that's it. You're not gonna talk against me. You're not gonna say I don't like the president. Tell me one socialist country that's working right now.
Any Nordic country, any European socialist country.
No, it's just a socialist country.
Yeah, well, I'm saying
Yeah,
any Nordic country.
Which one?
He's saying
Norway.
Norway? How many
Denmark?
Mexicans are in Norway? So do we gotta go with countries where white people?
Why can't it be all
wait.
Mexicans? Why can't it be brown or Latinos?
How come everybody always has to play down?
No, because it's true. Because it's funny how people on one side of the token they'll say like, and I'm not saying you, but maybe you are. They'll say America is evil, that they hate this, they hate that, and when you give them examples of what countries are good, like, well, those are straight white countries, 100% white almost.
Well, I mean,
So are we
sure.
the problem?
No.
I'm gonna get down to the root of this. So what's the problem here?
We haven't, our people haven't, based off of geography, we haven't migrated to Europe
To Norway.
for the most part.
I'm thinking, when was the Wright brothers, Chris? Was it 1890 something when the Wright brothers built planes? We can fly to Norway, brother. We can fly wherever we want right now.
That's not how the people
Listen,
immigrate.
I love America, brother. And you-
That's not really
Well,
migration, though.
And I could also say,
why is it a migration? So you gotta walk in order to migrate?
No, but you do know like how that works, right? Like, you do know
Teach
how traveling outside of the country works.
How does it work?
Teach them.
Teach me, please. I don't know. I thought you get your passport and you say, hey, I want to go to
Yeah.
this country.
we're lucky. We have
Yeah.
the most powerful passport. We don't have to. That's why. our
And why
lives
is
are-
that?
That's because we
Are
this-
America. That's because we are America. Damn it. We gotta get it. We're America.
America.
We have tried to enforce ourselves across the globe, and that's why.
No, listen. I'm gonna agree with some stuff with you. We have a real nasty history in this country. I won't deny that whatsoever, brother. We definitely did some foul shit, but every country around the world at one point or another did the foul stuff.
Of course.
Let me give you a great example of that.
Except for Native America.
I'm sure Native Americans were killing each other. What do you think? They were all holding
They were
hands.
tribal and peaceful.
They were tribal. You better go to my hood. We kill each other still, brother. What you talking about? In 1939 or whenever World War II started, right? Trip out on this. We were calling Hitler, and he was the worst thing ever happened. He's doing this. He's destroying people. Genocide. He's a horrible person. 80 years before that, America was doing that to the Indians. It's the same exact shit. Same exact shit. Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, America
Yeah, so
essentially
it-
right now.
So
is like
it depends
the
what
Nazi
time in
party.
history you are to be able to point the finger at somebody and say that. But now where we're at in America, we're at a point in time. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But do you really believe that you have hundreds of thousands, not millions of people coming in here, trying to come over here, risking their lives because they think America's a horrible place? No, because they know where they live is a horrible place. And it's not a horrible place because of the land, it's because of politics. It's because over there, you can work for 30 years and you ain't got shit coming. Over here, you could be a young man that came from a guy from Honduras as a young kid, and all of
get
a
the
sudden,
applause.
you're leveling up. That's the difference of America. And it gives you the right to hate America, which is a thing, but it's still America on mine. So I'm just,
Yeah,
No, it's still America with us too. but
there we go. Come back to us.
We do recognize the faults, but look, I'm not the smartest man in this little panel, but
you're the best looking one.
you're trying to connect the genocide that happened here with Native Americans, right, locally here in the States,
Yeah.
to what Hitler was doing around the world.
What's the difference?
No, I'm saying there's a connection.
I'm saying, yeah,
You're
of
saying
course.
the connection.
It was genocide.
No, I'm not saying that it wasn't genocide, but you do know the difference between what Hitler was trying to do around the world versus
It all depends. If Hitler would have won, you never know whether they would have been like this. Oh, we were just trying to do manifest destiny. That's what
We
America
do,
did.
but-
America came from one side, and little by little, just like Hitler, taking this, until they had the whole land.
But yeah, we did it here in the States.
So here it's okay.
No, I'm not saying that. But
I'm trying to figure out what you're saying.
It's not okay at all in either
it's not
way.
okay at all. But there was one that was trying to do that to the entire world.
You don't think if America could press a button and they would rule the world, they wouldn't?
Again,
that's what they're going
I'm
to.
only basing it
They would,
on.
yeah.
I'm
They
only
would.
basing on your comparison.
But
though.
I'm just saying the comparison of how people become higher on the totem pole of like justice. When, if you think about it, in the 40s, they're still calling us wetbacks. I mean, they're still calling us the N-word, and we're fighting for this
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
So I'm just trying to relate that I know the dirty history, and I admit it all day long.
But do you believe that him or any of the blue is really anti-American?
I believe that in colleges they have pushed a big time anti-American a movement, and I'll explain to you why. I said this in the last podcast. When you see somebody in a truck, when you see somebody in their house, and they have an American flag, most likely, who do you think they're going to vote for?
For Trump.
Thank you. And that's a sad thing. That's a sad thing.
Why is that a sad
It's
thing?
because it's been co-opted by a bunch of racists.
No, I'm right there, homeboy. I'm the American cholo, homeboy. Whether they say you should be the Honduran cholo, Gill, but I'm the American cholo for a reason. I love this country because I don't love its politics. Don't get me wrong. I think that's where people mix it up a lot. They think because I say I love this country that I love its politics and its policies. No, I do not. But this country gives me an opportunity to say, fuck Joe Biden, fuck Donald Trump.
You guys can't even say that. You guys have to say, "Let's go, Brandon."
Oh no, but you know where that came from, right?
You guys are so afraid to say fuck Joe Biden. You guys had to say, "Let's go, Brandon," bro.
No.
That he said fuck Joe Biden and got him out of our
Do you know where Let's Go Brandon came from?
Yeah, from NASCAR.
Okay, so when she's lying, and that's what the media's been lying for years, and they're saying, "Oh my God," they're saying your name, and they're all saying, "Fuck Joe Biden." She's saying,
What do
"Let's
you
go,
mean?
Brandon."
Go
No,
on
they were
to-
saying, "Fuck Joe Biden," dude.
Go on True Social and you'll see why people say let's go, Brandon. It's because they're
saying fuck Joe Biden.
They said it's like a secret code.
It is,
that
but-
people
Yeah,
can have.
but
what
the
about-
point is that they have to hide it.
Yeah. What about the guys that say?
No, you just can't say it on regular air. So they say, "Let's go, Brandon." That's all it is.
Nah.
It's not, they're not
You guys
hiding
are
it.
saying it
Do you
on
know what
True
"Let's go,
Social
Brandon"
and
means?
Twitter.
Do you know what "Let's go, Brandon"? Okay. Do
Wait,
you know
so
what
then
"Haktua" means?
So why do they
Do you know what "Haktua" means? It doesn't mean, "Hey, give me a blowjob," right? I can just say "Haktua." You know what I'm talking
Wait,
about, right?
if they couldn't say it because they were on air, why did they tweet it? Why were they on True Social saying it?
Yeah, but
why
let's
couldn't
go-
they say it there?
Where do we go from?
So one more
genocide
thing.
to "Let's go, Brandon"?
No, so like right now, Gil said that you're being indoctrinated in college, right?
Indoctrinated, yeah.
All right. So, do you believe? Do you believe that?
No.
No, you don't. So you don't believe that colleges, your professors, or anything try to influence you politically or try
God,
to
no. They just taught us history.
and history through whose viewpoints?
No viewpoints.
No, the liberals.
No.
Most college professors
They
are
never
liberal.
gave their opinion. They would always just lay out their fact.
When I was in 7th grade, Fulton Junior High, the teacher was they were teaching us about the meaning of Thanksgiving, right? And they were telling us about the pilgrims and all that stuff. Once that was done, the teachers like looked around and said, "Hey, man, like let me tell you the real history of it.
Right.
They don't want us to teach you guys this, but let me expose you to what you're going to eventually
Learn.
Also, I feel like a bigger display of indoctrination is forcing 10 Commandments
Correct.
or a certain religion. So what if they said, okay, let me ask you this. So if a governor...
Where's
of the
this
state-
guy forcing me, bro?
Wait, if a governor... Let's just say a governor of the state of a state is Muslim, and they're like, you know what? I want to force them to have to read 15 minutes of the Quran. Is that okay?
This is America. This was not. This was never
He's
an
just asking
Islam
you a
country.
question, though. He's just asking you a question.
No, that would not be correct.
Why? How come?
Because separation of church and state.
Oh,
Wait a second.
No, there is.
I
No,
get
then
you.
why is
I
it?
get you.
Wait,
I
wait,
get
wait,
you.
wait,
get
wait,
you.
wait. Now let me rebuttal you. So it's not okay to teach that, but it's okay to read books to a kid in elementary school, show them how to give
That's
a
a
blowjob to the
complete-
kid. No, so in
That's not
schools,
what's
hold on.
happening
So no,
at
it is what's
all.
happening.
That's not
I
what's
ordered
happening.
the books, bro. I ordered the books, and I saw it. I was like, what the fuck?
Did you order the books or did you see them
I
actually teaching them?
ordered
that?
the books
Okay, did
that
you
they're
see them
teaching at the schools. Yeah,
Did you see them teaching them at the
I
school?
ordered the books that are in the library in the school. Yes,
They're
yes,
in
I
the
ordered.
library.
Yes, in
What
the library.
schools? And what book?
At the top of my head right now, I can't have time to sit and tell you, oh, this school, this that.
What's the article?
Are you
What can I
okay?
Google right
let
now
me ask you
to
this.
find it? I wanna find it right now.
Are you okay?
Wait, hold on, I wanna find it right now.
I got one that's
Wait,
perfect.
no.
I got one that's perfect.
What's
Hold
the
on.
name of the book?
That way.
Give me the name of the
Just
book.
last week.
What's the name of the book?
Just last
Can I
week.
get the name of the book?
Just
I wanna
last
look it up.
I actually did a whole YouTube video. It's on my YouTube somewhere.
I'll look
You
it up
can find
right now.
Just last week, the governor of California signed a law. You're a father that tells you that if your kid Johnny goes to school, he's a 7-year-old, and says, "I don't want to be called Johnny anymore. I want to be called Susie. I want to be put in a dress." And throughout the whole school year, everybody's calling Johnny Susie now, and you as a parent are the last to find out. That's okay with you?
So Edwin has a
It's
great
not
point.
that. It's not that it's okay with me, but I would see it differently though.
Okay.
I would see it in a way of like, why is my son more comfortable feeling like he can be themselves at a school than coming to me? Like, what type of home have I created that my son can't feel comfortable enough to come and just have.
So
this
you're
dialogue
blaming
to me.
yourself as a parent and giving the schools the right to sit there.
No, I'm not giving them the right. I'm just saying, like, that's the first question I would ask myself. Then, secondly,
I wouldn't ask. I'd be upset and say, "What the hell you doing?"
I got you. Then, secondly, what I would do if I had a 7-year-old, then I would sit them on the living room or in the kitchen and just say, "Hey guys, I just want you to know, like, you can do this, but I want you to know that you have the freedom to come and talk to me."
Of course, no, and
But
that's
again, they're
and,
not
and that's
taking-
parenting. No, they are. They
No,
okay.
and I'm gonna tell you why too, because I went to these public schools here, right? So I do, and like some of these kids also lived in my building when I was in middle school or high school, and they acted one way in school. Around their mother, around their family,
Everybody
around church, acted another way, right?
Everybody does.
But I was like, all right, I see what they're really like in school, and I see their preference in school, but over here they're masking it and they're hiding it, right? So that's how I see the thing.
To me, it seems like a lot of times people on the left will make every excuse in the book for the government.
That's not an excuse.
That is an excuse. That's
not an excuse.
Because I see that all the time on IG. Well, but they'll do it a little worse. They'll be, well, if you really knew what your kid was doing and you had a better relationship with your kid, you should already know. That how many people did I know? My mom had to be called to school and say, "Hey, do you know your son's a gang member, right?"
Right.
So that means that they don't have to tell you he's a gang member because that's a private thing.
That's a little bit extreme, but yeah.
Why?
Because you're
Is it extreme?
comparing being a gang member to somebody feeling comfortable saying their orientation.
No, but that is something that, as a parent, you should be the first to be notified, so you may have that conversation with your child if you haven't already.
But my mom was never at home though.
Yeah,
so she couldn't know what I was up to.
But
You know
at
what
the end
I'm
of the day, the parent should always be the first to be notified about anything in school. And it's scary when all of a sudden you don't notify them, like how they're having drag shows in elementary schools. What the fuck is that?
Well,
explain what's on that one.
Listen,
they're just performers.
Again, I'm not here to.
They're just performers.
I'm not here to.
Hey, Giuliani's been in drag.
Yeah, that's
Good
true.
pivot point. Yeah, good guy right there.
Listen,
Okay, is it okay to tell
Republic? Hey, why does the gay grinder app go up when the RNC's in town?
What is a gay what?
There's,
Oh, they probably go love it, but they're adults, bro.
No, but
they're adults.
but the point is they hide it, right? They hide it, and what I'm trying to say is more on the fact of, like, as a parent, I don't feel like that law is taking the right away from parents having the conversation.
It absolutely is.
I think that they're protecting certain kids from certain homes, but it's your job as a dad, it's your job as a father, it's your job as a family to take that law and figure out how to have that conversation at the house.
But they did. Chino School District, and I went out there to some protest with them. They went to the Capitol, right, in Sacramento. They elected a new superintendent. She went ahead and got more people elected. In other words, they got into the process. They said, you guys need to get involved. So the parents got involved. Yeah. Chino School District switched it up on them and said, no, we're going to tell the parents. So once Chino School District flipped, there was other school districts where these guys were going, and they were politicking. That's what we're supposed to do as Americans. They were flipping the school districts. So that's when they got together and said, no, we're going to make it a state law. No more. Wait a minute. You're taking the rights away from parents who are getting involved in the school district and saying, this is what we're voting for as a school district. We want to know. It should be maybe a middle ground. Here's a paper. You sign that paper. If you're a parent, like when you go on a field trip, I want to know. Yeah, you know what? Give it to every parent. If my child wants to say he's something, yeah, I want to know.
I think I'm for that. And I'll go back to when I was even in elementary, and the big thing back then was sex education. When I was in elementary here, 4th grade, whatever, everything was sex education. You can't talk. What are you doing talking to my kids about sex education?
You got to sign something.
So they send a letter,
Yes,
and
as
they
they
said,
should,
my mom said that. I was like, hey, mom, sign this. They're like, you want to know about this? And I said, yeah. And she signed it, and that was it.
Back to, how old are your kids?
He doesn't have any kids.
My friend. I have 2 kids.
Wait, you have 2 kids, or you have grown?
I'm getting it. This will always be my kids. This will always be your kid, right?
Yeah,
there you go. I got 2 kids, adult children. I got 3 grandkids, right? And I got a nephew with young niece, and he always seems he's like on your tip, like, oh no, you guys are anti. When is it okay to bring Chippendales guys to come dance in front of your kids? You're sexualizing it, bro.
That's not what happens.
So that was the question.
No, yeah, I don't think that's what happens, man.
The Chippendales?
Yeah,
No. Wait, they bring them to school?
Yes, I'm telling you,
Where
bro.
that happen?
We've seen them time and time again.
Wow.
They're doing this, and the thing is, you're being
that's
anti-phobic. It's like, wait a minute, no. This is the problem that I feel that.
That's Chippendales. That's
So-
street
so-
people.
so drag is
stripping.
cool?
No, I'm not saying that's cool.
None of it's cool.
No, I don't think.
So real quick, not to stop all you guys, but
We want to talk about Chippendales, so come on.
So my biggest question
That's a
is
strip
like,
show. That's
like,
totally different.
So I feel like when people talk about the left or the right, like especially the left right now, it's like it always goes into like this whole like hypersexualized like category, right? And again, the kids and all the different things that you're talking about, Chippendales now.
Right,
so-
right.
But if you were to prioritize, like again, so all three of us lean
Yes.
more left, right? All
Yes.
three of us. So where I don't think any of us really like champion these type of causes. To your point right now, you disagreed with what he said. Yeah, I mean, meaning that you agree with that not being right. Certain things, Chippendales in elementary schools.
Yeah.
There's no place for that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why some people to the right seem to think that if you identify as progressive, liberal, Democrat, you automatically champion these policies, because we don't. Like there's a lot of us, and I've asked you that before.
Yeah,
You've never sat, out of all the people you've ever had here, I've never seen somebody, and I don't know one person, even though 90% of the people I talk to are left leaning.
Right.
I've never had one person champion that type of behavior.
Yeah, it's all culture war spouted from Fox and
Well,
Trump.
yeah, that's somewhat true.
So at what point, like,
But-
so if you want to attack like taxes, or if you want to attack homeless initiatives,
but Edwin just right now before that said that he's okay with not being.
I didn't say it was
it's like,
okay.
it's like you guys tipping to around this.
Wait.
well, why is
First
that?
of all,
Why is that such?
Not
like
the- not the
First of all,
sexual, but the kids.
I've only talked about my home.
Yeah, and that's okay with you?
And I said that in my home, I'm going to take charge of my kids. And even if I don't agree with a law that has to do with the state, and they're saying that something's okay, I'm going to talk to.
But that's
my
not what we're
house
asking.
a certain-
I'm
a certain
I'm
way.
asking you: are you okay with the schools keeping secrets between them and your kids?
I don't.
When your kids were young.
Again, I don't think that I saw it as them keeping secrets. I think that they're protecting certain kids from certain homes, and what I said is that I'm going to use that opportunity to talk to my family about this. That's all I said.
Yeah, I'm against it
So-
100%. I don't care. And to me, it's because I got grandkids, and I don't have to. My kids are grown. I can sit there and say I don't really give a shit. But to me, I see where it's going. Like, no, dude.
But
what are you guys doing?
I know for a fact that my sons have friends that of another lifestyle and another like they.
We all do.
So
Nobody cares.
But I would have thought
Yeah.
that in this day and age that they would be comfortable coming out to their parents, right? Hold on.
Yeah.
And then I hear them tell me like their friends are scared to even. And now these are grown men now,
Right.
grown women now, and I hear them tell me like, oh no, yeah, they still haven't come out to their
And that's
parents.
sad.
My point is that even in today's day and age, there's still some uncomfortable level
Of course.
of that. And it's not just a free for all, right? So when I look at that and I take that information, I say, okay, there's still some households that are not okay with that. And then I come back to even Latinos, and knowing that in a Latino culture and a hyper religious culture, that's not acceptable, then I think about, okay, well, maybe they're protecting certain people and certain kids from certain families.
So you like drag shows?
That's how I see
No.
it. No, I don't like that. Yeah.
No, hey, we only
But
got a few.
but again, that's
Let's
that's
talk.
how I
Let's talk
deduct all
about
of that.
We got 8 minutes. Let's switch to the crime.
no. So real
Law and
quick,
Order.
we'll get there right now. So
We
one last
got to
thing.
do part 2 and 3 already,
Yeah.
bro.
We're in.
My big question to you is, where do you think the big disconnect is between, let's say, the left, the right, and let's not say the extreme left, the
Sure.
center-based left,
Yeah.
right? Where's the big disconnect, and how do we get closer to where we can sit down
Great question.
and have these type of questions,
I
conversations? I mean,
think that really will happen once everybody can actually realize that the issue is
Trump?
systemic. No, it's not just Trump. Trump is nothing. Trump is nothing but
he's an opioid.
he
Put
is
some respect on that name, fool.
He's unfortunately a result of 50 years of this systemic issues, starting with Reagan, starting with, you can even blame, it's a Nixon-Reagan combo that kind of fucked everything up.
That's like with mass incarceration.
and
Yeah.
so,
Bill Clinton was mass incarceration. What you talking
Right,
about?
so he
Biden
was a
mass
byproduct.
incarceration.
They were
Yeah,
byproducts
byproducts
of
of
the
that.
Nixon,
Yeah.
Reagan.
Oh, they were victims. Bill Clinton and fucking Biden were victims.
No.
These mofos.
So real quick-
I don't like Bill Clinton. I don't like Bill Clinton either. Hey, I think that's the difference too between a Republican and a Democrat. I feel like we're pretty okay with calling people out on our side. When we don't like their policy with their views or anything like that. You guys will keep riding them until the sunset.
Who's you guys? You think...
Bro, we
Trump
literally
lovers.
just
No,
got rid of Biden.
I'm a trompito, homeboy. No, you got rid of
just got rid
Biden
of
after
Biden.
3.5 years of bullshitting. After he finally got exposed because he had to come out the basement and do that debacle of a debate that everybody saw and said, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?" And then until he's gonna run. He's sharp behind the scene, and we all know stop.
Yeah, unfortunately, the DNC thought that he was the best candidate when everybody who actually had a pulse realized that was going to be a one-term.
Who's your candidate right now?
Unfortunately, Kamala Harris. You know,
Okay, so back to that. So where do we meet the right side? Where do you think we could find common ground, and how do you think we improve the relations between the left and the right?
I think we have to honestly stop having knee-jerk reactions to hearing people express their political views. Unfortunately, while of course some extremely far right that we should still, there's some extreme views I'll say we should of course
On
call
both
out.
sides, yeah, for sure.
But I think definitely once you actually have a meaningful conversation with somebody, it sounds so corny and so cliche.
But it's true.
Yeah, but once you actually understand, like, hey, we're pretty much all the same at the end of the day.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Same question to you, Gil. Where do you think that? And I see you're having more and more dialogue with the left, which I think is dope and respectful.
Well, you guys are finally coming in, bro. You guys been dodging me for like 3 years.
No, but I also
huh?
want to say that there is a level of respect, and I do appreciate that. Even when the last couple of times that Bruno's been here, I'm like, hey, I do like that. As some of the things I don't agree with him, but at least he allows us to talk. And yes, when he's had enough, he jumps in and just
of course.
right, that's enough, man.
But to me,
but
this is-
there's dialogue.
There's dialogue, bro, and as long as there's dialogue, we're learning something about each other. So the more we have these dialogues, the more we're gonna learn, because what's really going on, and this is from both sides. You got a Fox News, you got a CNN. With CNN used to be a great news organization, and they lost their way, bro. Now all you do is they're spitting fire to their base, and they're not reporting news. But Fox never really reported news. Let's keep it real. Fox was always a right-wing pundit, but CNN copied their thing. So now we have nobody really listening to news. They're just feeding you the hate on each side, and you're not getting this kind of dialogue. And that's what we need. We need to have this kind of dialogue. And at the end of this, we'll turn this camera out. We're gonna laugh, shake hands, say that was a great podcast, and go.
Where do you get your news? Because I never see you looking at MSNBC or CNN or anything like that.
I just try and definitely world news, like, because they're definitely less biased.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
And so I just try and check any source that I get any information from, essentially. So long as you find your credible source and you fact check it yourself.
So before we go, can you share real quick just your quick opinion about maybe having these mega influencers one day having a bigger say in the political system?
Oh, it's gonna happen for sure. I mean,
I'm right here already.
Give the example that you shared with them.
Yeah, sure. Someone like Mr. Beast, he teases something like, "Oh, let me run for president," something like that. But the reality is, people nowadays, influencers, once they reach a certain point, and they have a direct line of communication with their audience and can actually move them. I mean, he disrupted Hershey's, a century-old brand that had market share that nobody wanted to touch, and overnight he just ate it up. So I think maybe not Mr. Beast, although I'm pretty sure he probably
But
could.
he's an example.
No,
He's an
Mr. Beast.
example of what's
No
But-
Mr. Beast Taylor Swift ticket. That's what you're saying?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised the way Mark Cuban's been moving with.
Oh, he's gonna run. He's
the
gonna
way
run.
I wouldn't doubt him and Jimmy doing a little ticket. If
Jimmy who?
Mr. Beast, that's his real name.
Falcon. I was like, oh, you crazy.
I know. I thought he was.
No.
No, that would be
Yeah.
nice. I would think that
And
would work.
what do you think he would run under?
He wouldn't. He would that
Democrat.
influence. No,
No.
influencers coming in would hopefully disrupt the two-party system because they don't need the backing of an
That's the
RNC
thing.
or
That's
the
the
DNC.
thing. That's the thing.
They don't need. They have straight donations from the source. Instagram, YouTube, all that. They can just donate overnight way more than any.
So no independent, no DNC, no RNC. It's just
yeah, it would
it's
just
their
be,
own thing.
Yeah,
And you would support something like that?
if the person's right.
We got a super chat. We're about to get out of here. Juan Gonzalez. Well, that hoes will vote for laughing Kamala just because she's a woman.
There's the misogyny.
Nah, I appreciate that $20 super chat. All right, before we go, I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to be live at 8 o'clock with Prime. It's on my post. It's on my IG. I'm going to go there, and they got somebody else that doesn't go at it with me. So I guess I'm doing the rounds today. I'm Team Trompito, homeboy. Get us out of here, Bruno. I appreciate you, Edwin, and Son coming in, man.
Thanks, you guys, for coming on. I think it's dope. Again, just having these dialogues, and a lot of it we just want to understand. I think that
for sure.
it's healthy for us. And again, even though we're at civil war right now,
I can't wait.
good. Yeah. So just go ahead.
It's good also to just bring in a younger perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Nothing but old heads.
For sure. The next one, I'll explain how corporate America is the most socialist.
Let's do it. With that, people, we are out. Hey, great conversation.
Yeah, of course, Gill.